Hey, what's up guys? Today's episode is about putting this LED bar into here. So I got this LED bar off of eBay. It's a thin LED bar with 2 flood projectors and 1 big spot projector. I'm planning to hook this up to go in behind this area right here on the bumper. It comes with a couple of L brackets that you can use to support it against something, and then you can adjust the angle of your LED bar accordingly. I'm planning to have it facing straight out. It's going to be working when it's at full high beams. I'm going to hook up the power to the fog light, and I'm going to tie it up to a switch inside the cabin. I will show you how that works. One thing I wanted to add is a fuse, just in case something goes wrong with the light. Then there's going to be a fuse to stop any short circuiting or anything like that. So this is a simple inline fuse that you buy from your local hardware store for $5, and then it has a little cover on it that makes it waterproof. This is going to go right next to this, and that's going to go to the power. And then here I have a 3-way switch. There's 3 prongs attached to it. One is the ground, one is constant battery, and the third one is the power that routes it towards the LED board. I was looking for spots to place my switch. I don't want it to be somewhere where it's like super obvious and easily triggered. So I found a really cool spot for it, and it is down here right by where you set the tire pressure settings. So that's the button to reset your monitoring sensors if you weren't sure where they were. It's right there. And right next to it, there's 2 slots that are perfectly sized for my switch. And it's in the right location since my wire is going to be coming up from beyond the firewall right up there. So, great spot for it. As you can see, I've removed the engine bay covers to kind of clear the way. I'm going to start running the wires first, just to make sure I have the right placement of wires before I hook everything up and install everything. I don't want to drill any holes into my bumper unless I am sure the installation will be a success. So the alternative was to stick a long screwdriver that goes through. I poked it first with one of those pointy edge tools I have, one of these, and the screwdriver came out the other end, and I taped the one wire to it. Then I subsequently will tape another wire to that and then pull it through. We pull. I may get some resistance once the wire's trying to make it through. Oh, the screwdriver came clean, but also did the wire. Beautiful. So now I will tape another wire to this because I need 2 wires. One that goes to the power source and another one goes to the LED bar from the switch. So as mentioned before, on my switch we'll need a ground wire, a constant power wire, which will be tied to the fog light, so it won't get constant power. So if I forget it, it will turn off with the fog lights. And the switch wire that will go to the power end of the light. I currently have 2 wires going through. This one will connect to fog light. This one will connect to this. I need to ground it. The ground doesn't need to be very long. I just have to find a spot in here, which there is plenty of, to ground my ground wire. So I can see already a few spots where there's metal and nice ground spots, so I'll probably hook into one of those. So for the ground, I found this spot right here where the brake pedal is attached to. I loosened that bolt, that nut a tiny bit, squeezed the wire behind it, and kind of extended it into this thing here, which will go into the switch to provide the ground for the switch. To test that I have a good ground, I can plug in my voltage tester. So this usually connects to ground, and on the other end of it there is this screwdriver looking thing that has a bulb inside, which will tell you there is a current if we hook it up to the positive battery terminal, and that should tell you that we have good ground. So now that I have the ground terminal set up, sorted out, I'm gonna put the similar ends on those two wires, hook them up to the switch, and then go to the other end, do the wiring, and then kind of do a quick test run before I install everything permanently and leave it in place. So far everything is all temporary and I can remove it anytime I want. I just want to make sure that all my wiring is correct before I pin everything down. So here I have the wires terminated and installed. The top one is the ground, the middle one is the switch, and that one, the green one, goes to the light bar. The red one is the constant power, in which case it'll be to the fog light. But for testing purposes, I'm gonna go to the positive battery terminal. So here we are on the other side. Again, the red wire will take us to the positive battery terminal. Green will go to the power switch, which is kind of, it has a fuse on the way just in case there is any sort of short circuit. And then the ground will go to, well, right now the positive battery terminal, but later I will move it to a ground maybe on the bumper itself, because it looks like a pretty good place to ground the light bar. And on the inside here, the switch is getting power, and when I push the button, this light goes on to tell me it's powered, and the light wire is powered. Everything looks like is in order and functioning properly. I'm just gonna have to put everything in place, wire it up permanently, and it'll be ready to go. So here I've taken out the plate that goes under the driver steering column, and there's that tire pressure reset button. Planning to put the switch right in here, and it's in the perfect size and location. To make the hole that this switch will go into, I'm going to use this drill bit, which will take it close to the size of the hole required. And then I'm going to use this other bit right here to fine tune the size of the hole as I need to make that switch fit properly. So let's get to work. So to recap, this plate goes up here under the steering column, and I've went ahead and installed the switch to power the light bar over here. I think it's a pretty good location. It fits in there perfectly. It's very inconspicuous. No one can find it there. Yeah, it's kind of out of the way, which is ideal for something like that, and it doesn't mess up the stock look of the interior. I kind of want to keep it stock and don't want to fill it with buttons that don't necessarily fit in there. I'll put that up together and then move to the front end where I can button everything up in the front. So there it is with everything buttoned up. That's the location of it and kind of where it sits, right under there somewhere, which is easy for me to access, to go and find just by touch. Right, I can just find it and do it by hand, and I can feel where the light is, and I can tell if it's on if my feet are illuminated in red. So on this end, I pulled the wires, fed them in behind this cover trim. They go all the way down, they come out this end, and they go through a tiny hole right over there. Not sure if you can see it. and then they come out the front end over here. I'm trying to avoid any spots where they can be overheating or anything like that where it melts the wire. And then inside, the red wire will connect to the fog light, which is right there, and then the green wire will continue to the LED bar. So I've went ahead and marked out where the holes for the mounting bolts are going to be by just placing the LED bar on this face, and eventually it's going to end up being on the opposite face. So that's what's going to happen. I'll drill the holes using a step drill, which is this guy right here, and it consists of different widths. So you keep drilling until you get to the width required for your bolt, for your mounting bolt to get in, and you're set. So I'm out here in the dark testing the lights, and right now I have the regular low beams on. Now high beams on, low beams back on, and now I can see if I can turn it on. Now with the LED light bar on, LED light bar off. On with high beams. Well, there you have it, guys. It's all installed and buttoned up. It performs really well, better than the video shows, because the camera was doing all kinds of adjustments to kind of dim the lights. So in real life, it actually does better. The install itself was fairly straightforward and easy. I didn't have any major problems to contend with. Anyways, if you like this video, please hit that like button, hopefully subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this, more of that, or maybe a little bit of the FJ40. Who knows? Let me know. Yeah. Again, thanks for watching. Goodbye.